So I just, looked into it and then was like, I'm not sure, signed up for it. And then I was like, okay, well, with the ambassador program, you can literally get a bunch, at a good price. So I got enough for me to last an entire month. It was the only energy drink I drank for a whole month before I even talked about it to anybody else. Towards the end of the month, I handed it out to a couple of close friends and family, and they really enjoyed it. So I was like, okay, well, maybe this will work. So I started out with pushing out the promo code, stuff like that. I made probably about $200 in a couple months off that.
Okay.
And then was like, I could just do this and sell it here with the Hustler pack. So that's, July was when I think I ordered my first Hustler pack. So yeah.
Wow.
So about June, I would say officially July, first time I bought a Hustler pack.
Wow. Because, I started in July, just, they had all these free deals, and I'm sucked into free. Okay. And there's also
Right.
free shirts and the promos, the to-go packs. I was like, all right, I got it. And all of a sudden I was like, man, this stuff is good stuff. This is real.
Yeah.
This is legit.
Right.
So basically in the same time period, you were already making money while I was just down in the energy drinks and working out. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I think my biggest push, when I started with the Hustler packs, I started selling personally, just to friends and family, going through Facebook and using Facebook Marketplace, hey, a new energy drink out there, X amount of dollars right now, and get it now. And I sold out pretty quickly. I think when I got the first Hustler pack, I posted it on Facebook, buy, sell trades in my area to start. And okay. I sold out my first Hustler pack, which, if we put this on the RAZE Insider group and stuff like that, Cody can be able to verify it, but Cody Welsh can verify it. I pushed the first 12 cases in 24 hours. They were gone.
God, really?
Yeah, overnight. Yeah. So that's where it really started. And that's where I decided I could probably, if there was enough want in my community, that I could make it happen. And so then I started, I didn't get my first store until I think August. And so I was going from ordering one Hustler pack at a time. And then when that first set ran out, I was like, well, shipping time is 7 to 10 days, and so I decided, well, I need to buy more. I don't even have enough for me to drink any. I need to, I did find out that my my vitamin shop, right, literally a block away from me, does carry RAZE. So I was able to go get some extras when people were like, I need some more, like blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, I'll just go buy it. And then I just gave it to them for the same price. But I ended up starting, I think I got up to about 3 Hustler packs at a time. So within a week, I could get 3 Hustler packs. So it's 36 cases sold in a week.
Okay, cool. Now I got to ask, what's your angle? And when I mean angle, you look at all of us as members in the Insider thing and the Rebellion. You got paintball guys, you got gamers, you got fitness guys. What would you identify yourself as?
I am not a fitness guy.
Okay.
I mean, I like to try and watch my weight and stuff like that. I am, a fat bearded man, honestly. I mean, just to be frank, I don't go to the gym and lift weights. When I go to the gym, I'll do it for like a month, and then it's like 1 to 2 days a week. And then I just get busy and do other things.
Okay.
I'm really, the way that, no sugar energy drink started for me was back in, I want to say about a year ago to September. So a year and a couple months, I used to drink Monster all the time, and green Monster was my go-to. I then switched to the white ones to get the no sugar, right?
Okay.
My buddy said, oh, try Bang. So I got the cotton candy Bang, and I drank that, and I enjoyed it. The taste was good, and then I just strictly went to no sugar energy drinks. And then I tried Rain, all that stuff. I went from 295 pounds, just not working out, not doing anything, but switching from Monster to Bang and Rain. I went from 295 to 240 pounds. So it was a good stretch. It was over a year. So, I mean, you're not working out, not doing anything. That's not bad, you know? But it shows how much those energy drinks impact you. And I was also doing some keto too. So that helped out a lot. I'm Italian. I like pasta. I like bread, you know, carbs are my friend. You put red sauce on it, I'm eating it. And I'm also a cook at home. I'm the one that I do 95% of the cooking at home. So I had to watch what I was eating. And I have 2 kids. I'm 28. I'll be 29 actually on the 22nd. And I wanted more time with my kids. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. And so I needed to watch my weight. When I found RAZE, and I was telling you at the beginning of this, I started with just getting a month's supply for myself. I loved every single flavor. There is not a single flavor that I could find something wrong with. My palate's pretty open, so I don't have like what's your favorite? I like Baja Lime, right? But I like all of them. And grape bubblegum. What you need, baby? I'm in a meeting. Go watch your shows. Close the door, please. Sorry, it's my 4-year-old.
I'm drinking my RAZE Baja Lime
there you
myself.
go. Yeah, I have Baja Lime right now, but unfortunately, if Elizabeth sees this, I mean, she's gonna love it. You know, I'm drinking Voodoo. Voodoo was the day choice for me today. I needed something creamy. Yeah. So I liked every flavor, and the one flavor that I was extremely afraid to try was grape bubblegum. And the reason why was because grape, it's just so hard to make. There's so many companies out there that have made grape flavored things that are just wrong. So I drank it once and I was like, it's at the bottom of my list, but I like it, you know? And now it's one of my top 5 at least, you know, daily flavors every single day. And that was just simply because I ended up only having grape left. And that was the only one I had to drink. So
Nice.
That's what I did. So, I mean, that's where I'm at. You know, I'm a gamer. I like to hang out with my kids. I wanted more time with my kids. So getting more healthy was the best choice for me. I'm still working on it, still trying to find the time to do it. But mostly I focus on what I take into my body now. So I focus on the foods that I eat and stuff like that to help. I'm a worker. I'm a salesman. I worked at Verizon for 10 years. I used to be an assistant district manager, and I would train over hundreds of employees at a time. And I used to be the guy that was the fixer. I used to go to the stores that were underperforming, that were about to close, and fix them. So I did that for a long time, and I didn't want to go back. You know, I don't want to do that kind of sales anymore because it's one step close. You know, it's one step away from being a car salesman is working at a cell phone company. And if anybody knows anything about cell phone companies, it's the truth. You know, I helped a lot of people. And that was my biggest thing, was turn shoppers into buyers today and loyal customers for life. And if you care about the numbers, if you care about the customer, the numbers will always be there. So if you just take care of the customer and you inform them of the products that you have available, you're not going to have to worry about that one-on-one where you're sitting down going, hey, why didn't you sell this product? You know, it's a metric you have to follow, you know? So that was me. And now I'm a family man. Entrepreneur. I went from real estate to doing this because I was doing house flipping for a little bit. COVID kind of struck me hard because I was brand new into house flipping and I didn't know how to cope with COVID. So I huddled up with all the money I had and just spent it on bills. And, you know, then I found RAZE and here I am.
Okay. So you've been doing this since July, roughly. What would you do differently now, knowing what you know now as a beginner? Like, okay, I'm a beginner. I'm a novice. I just got my my insider. I just got my ambassador pack. What would you tell me if I were you as a beginner right now, knowing what you know?
There's a lot of variables that go into that. But in a perfect world, if you had the money, if you had the time, and you knew your market area that you're in would benefit from the product that you have, which I have some tips on, I would say go all in. You know, if you're not afraid to, you know, take risks, I'd go all in, because if I would have known that I was going to sell 12 cases in 24 hours the first time around, and then be up to 36 cases in a week, like I would have been buying pallets back in July. I don't think I bought my first pallet until end of August, September, I think it was. I would have put more money into it to grow faster is what I would have done. Whereas now I'm not saying we're positive we're making money and we're using all the profit that we have back in to buy more, but I'm still struggling with COVID and not having an actual main source of income. I'm struggling to make ends meet to continue to keep that process going. We just figured out how to fix that. So that was a struggle that I had at first, was being able to maintain the set of bills that I had and continue to keep doing this. So if you have, I don't recommend anybody that doesn't have a job to do it. I recommend at least having a part-time job just so that you have supplemental income, unless you have stacks, sitting in the back room, that are just there for the rainy days. And if you have that many stacks of paper, you should just get in real estate. That's huge money. But so the hardest part is to tell somebody to jump into something like this. It's not easy, and it's not all what it's cracked up to be. You're not going to make money real fast. We buy cases, as the hustlers, you buy 12 cases, right? It breaks down to $16.66 a case. What are you selling them for? You're selling them to a person, just a consumer. You're probably selling 25. That's a decent price. So you're making $8, $9, give or take. Well, if you sell into a business, they have to resell it. They're not going to buy it at 25. You'll be lucky to sell it at 20, right? So then you're at $3 and some change, right? How many cases do you need to sell to replace your income that you have now? To replace what you need to survive while you grow. It's not easy. You're talking hundreds of cases. So, when you get to a pallet, it's cheaper, of course, not by a whole lot though. I actually have stores now that buy them at $20 a case. They buy them at $18 a case, and they buy them at $16 a case. So you're talking, depending on the size of what you're going with is where you're at. When you start, unless you have connections, I had none. You're not gonna be able to walk to a store and close that first store. You're not. You'll sit on product for a couple of weeks when it comes to stores. Individual people, that's different. Businesses are another thing. You got COVID happening, which, they're buying product and it's going out the door. But why would they turn around and buy a brand new product that might not move in their store? That's a risk for them. So you got to get creative.
Okay. Now, going on that, I'm going to ask you the hard questions, Tyler. What's your conversion rate? And what I mean by that is, you must have already figured out, well, I have to make so many phone calls that gives me so many visits, that gives me so many actual sales.
Mm-hmm.
Have you actually put that in your head before? Like, how many people do you need to go to before you actually close a sale? Rough guess.
When you first start, probably about 10 people, and you might close 2. Your conversion rate might be 20%, which is pretty damn good. You learn as you go, because when you get those 2 people out of 10, you're getting them towards the end of the 10 people you've talked to, because the first 6 you talked to, you started to learn what they're looking for, what they're trying to hear. And, what they're looking for is flexibility. When you go to sell this to a business, you become independent. You're an independent distributor, and your job is to try and get in there with the big names. You'll find out that there are some tricks to the trade to get it to happen. And my conversion rate now, we hit 20 stores in September, I think it was. I think I got a couple more stores at the first part of October, but total of 20. I actually had to let go of a few stores. One, because they weren't serious, really. It was just kind of like, yeah, sure, we'll buy it, but they weren't putting it in good locations. They weren't talking, or they weren't upholding their handshake agreement that we made. So we pulled out of them because it wasn't worth my time. Because when you're thinking about this, you're selling each case, and we talked about just a little bit about how much you make per case. That's not part of the game. It's not how much you're making per case. It's how many cases can you sell. Quantity is your money right now. You sell more, you make more. And so that's why you have to start thinking about, well, I want to get $20 a case. Well, if you sell 5 cases at $20 and I sell 10 at 18, which one of us made more money? You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So when it comes to the conversion rate, it's really hard to test because I want to say I'm probably talking to about 30 businesses. I'm down to 15 stores now. Go, please. Happy birthday. Bye. It's not my birthday.
Happy birthday.
It's not my birthday. When you, I want to say the first, I probably talked to about 5 stores before I closed one. Now I'm up, end of October, I was at 20. In November, I cut back 7 of them. And then I just got back up to 15 and I have a lead on 6 more. But in that time, from when I went to 12 stores to possibly getting to the next 2, that was just word of mouth. That was, I've got product in 7-Eleven. They're franchises. They all know each other in the area. So it's as simple as just being patient, letting the stores that have the product sell it and see how good it does, and then have them talk to the people they know and say, hey, this product's selling good. Do you want to carry it too? And then I go talk to them. So it's more of a warm lead at that point. Once you get 5 or so stores, it starts to become more of warm leads instead of cold. I stocked the 2 new stores, so I'm at 15, went across the street to an AM PM, and the guy's like, yeah, I'll take 10 all flavors, all of them. And then if it does well, I'll put it in my 4 other stores. So if we do that, that'll put me at 20 stores. My goal right now is to get to 30 by the end of January at, solid stores, not wishy-washy, solid stores. So it just depends. I actually haven't tracked my conversion, because one of my tips would be jump on Facebook Marketplace and share the information on the sample pack. That's $10. Use your code. You'll make a little bit of money. It's a good deal for your potential clients. You'll get about 5 to 10, maybe more, and then take it off. And then just be like, look, I'm not trying to push this product on you. I'm literally giving everyone in the area an opportunity to try a product to see if it will, if it will actually be something that we would enjoy here. And if it does, well, now you got 5 to 10 personal clients that you can start getting the hustler packs, and you already have them sold because those people want more, right?
So, yeah, with the sample packs, you're not putting any money in, are you? I mean, it's just a coupon code.
Right.
That's awesome. Right.
It's a simple way for you to get into your market, and that's what I mean by your market. You use Marketplace, it's in your area. You use your buy sell trades in your area, and those people directly are in your community, your market, that you're going to sell to, because where you're sitting right now, your first store that you're going to get is going to be within 5 miles of your house, depending on, how big your area is, right? If you're in a metropolitan area, that's kind of how it works. You're not going to have a store 25 miles away as your first store. So start targeting the people that are closest to you, Facebook Marketplace, buy sell trades, and offer it not as a sales pitch, but as a, hey, this is here. This is a product we might carry. If you want to try it, here you go. Let me know, personally message me and let me know how you like it, because we're thinking about putting these in stores near you. Once you get those 5 to 10 clients, then you turn around and it will give you the ability to find out where those people live so that you can target stores near them. Because when you go to get gas, what's the place you go to? How far away is it from your home?
At 2 miles or less, easily.
Right. So if you have 10 people that try it and 5 of them are all bunched up near 1 or 3 gas stations, where are you going to target? You're going to target that area, because then they're going to go there and they're going to buy it. That's where you have the support fact to go to that store, that gas station, and say, hey, Jimbo, I know that you like independent companies. I'm trying to start something, and I have a product that I've already tested, and I have about 10 of your regulars that come to your store to get gas that like this product. So now I can tell you that 12 cans can sell like that. That was me snapping, but the background thing doesn't work very well. There we go. So That way, because you can't get the product, walk into a store and it's like, hey, do you want to try this? It's great. No, you need to, when you sell something, you have to have a feature versus benefit. You have to have reasons why somebody would want it. Well, if I've already tested the market and I know that certain places have a cluster of people that like the drink already, I know that they already have customers. It's done. And then you go, hey, I'll do a deal for you. And here's another tip. Dan, I can see over there with a pencil. You might want to write this one down. Instead of going in there and saying, I have 10 flavors, they come in 12 packs. Say, hey, I have 10 flavors. You can choose whatever you want. But my best deal is doing half cases of each flavor. So you only have to buy 5 cases. There we go, over here. 5 cases, but you get all 10 flavors. It's less risk for them. Because they have to spend less money, right, to get all flavors. They get all flavors to try them out, and now they can test which ones sell faster. You'll do this a couple times. You already have 5 cases already sold to them now every single time. But then you have, let's say they like four flavors. They only want 4 flavors. Well, then you have 4 lanes. However, 4 lanes, which means, when you go to pick up your drink from the cooler, that's a lane, right? Or space, whatever you want to call it. When you gave them the half cases each, they have all 10 flavors. That means you have an entire rack to yourself. There's all 10 flavors on display. You have all 10 flavors. If only 5 of them sell well, great. You have dedicated 5 lanes. You always hear the thing where it's easier to pull something down than it is to pull something up. Same concept. If you have all 10 flavors there, man, it's weird. My camera's over here. There we go. If you have all 10 flavors, right, it's easier to start there and go down than it is to start here and work your way up, right? So that's a good tip on being able to sell. You're not necessarily selling more now, but it's setting yourself up for success while also taking care of the business owner that is buying your product. It's a win-win. And that's how you have to think about it as an independent distributor. How can I do this full circle? How can I win? How can they win? Right?
Yeah. Okay. Now, couple minor questions. Now, do you charge them sales tax?
Businesses, no. So businesses, a consumer is an individual. If I came to you and I sold you a can of RAZE, right? Whereas if Dan, he owned a store, that would be a business and they're reselling the product. So they don't pay sales tax. They pay sales tax on nothing. And the reason why is because it goes from manufacturer, resells it to a distributor who then resells it to a location. None of them pay sales tax. It's the consumer that pays sales tax at the end. So that's what it's called, is a resale tax permit. And they're usually in Washington here, they're free. You can get them willy-nilly out your bunghole. It doesn't matter. But what that does is it stops me. If anything that I purchase for my business that I'm going to resell, I don't have to pay tax to the people that I'm buying it from. But I have to charge it to consumers, the end user, sales tax, right? So if I'm selling it to a business, they're not the end user, their customers are. So then they would they would charge sales tax.
Okay.
I personally do events too. So I do events, I do trade sales, I sell to businesses, and I sell to persons. So I sell to consumers. So I charge sales tax at trade shows. I charge sales tax to individual consumers. I use the Square Up program, which basically tracks everything. Once you have it set up, it's very easy to use, and it will track everything. It'll track all the sales that you sold that have sales tax and tell you what you need to pay every quarter in taxes.
Nice.
I think my last one, surprisingly, I thought it was going to be more because I made some pretty good money at the trade shows and consumer wise, that I only had to pay like $100 in taxes. So that was pretty cool. But I think it was like $4,000 gross profit for Q3.
Yeah.
And that's gross. That's not including like cost. So that's everything that I made, including cost. So when you take the cost out of there, we've probably made I think we've done 2 pallets, right? So we've probably made about $2,000 profit net.
Nice.
And that's not including gas. That's not including licensing fees, nothing like that. I'm just normal profit.
Okay.
And we only had to pay $100 in taxes. And that's because taxes aren't that much. They're a small percentage of every single sale,
Yeah.
and since you're charging the consumer, you don't have to pay it. You just have to remember to take that money. I do it after every trade show. I go check how much I sold. It'll tell me how much in total taxes I acquired, and then I take that money and I put it in my savings account. And then that does is it just sits there and it collects a little tiny bit of interest, probably not at all. And then by the time the quarter comes up that I have to go pay taxes, I just take that money and I pay it, easy and done.
All right, and
Which
on
also that kind of helps with your sales tax questions too.
okay, and on that note, so you go to these businesses, these convenience stores. Do you are you like due on receipt as soon as you show up? You bring the cases you're expecting to be paid. Do you do net 30? How do you approach that?
So because I'm independent and we don't have a lot of cash flow, everything's due upon delivery. I haven't had a store go any more than 10 cases at a time. So if we ever had like a grocery store, like a mom and pop grocery store, then it'd be a deposit, because they would probably obviously order more. And I would have them put a deposit down and then the rest due on delivery. So whether that's, hey, I don't have enough stock, I got to order that, but we'll have it to you, this date. I need you to give me, X amount of dollars. I try to just cover cost on their deposit, honestly, because then there's no money out of my pocket. If they need a pallet, 124 cases, I can go and say, hey, you need to pay me, a deposit of this much, and then the rest on due. I can make it as close as I can to the cost of that pallet so that there's less money coming out of my pocket right now. You see what I'm saying?
Nice. So okay, so do you use a script? I mean, typical, sales 101. Do you use a script? I mean, how do you approach a new client?
There's no script.
Do you
I
wing
got
improv?
after Verizon for 10 years, dude, there's a script, and I love it. It makes sense. It's a great baseline specifically for new people. But it's just a baseline. Every person is different. You cannot do every single transaction with a script. It just doesn't work. You have to understand who they are, and you got to feel the environment. You got to feel their vibes and their body language. The best trick that I have is walking into a location, going and checking what they have, right? I'm looking at what type of energy drinks they have that are pre-workouts. Do they have RAZE? No? Perfect. They're a potential client. Do they have C4? Do they have Bang? Do they have Rain? Do they have 3D? Like, what do they have? And then that's when I can say, okay, well, where did we stand at the Clash of the Cans? We were number 2, and we barely lost to Rain. So I can beat out C4. I can beat out 3D. I can beat out all these guys. Cool. Then I go and I ask the person behind the counter, hey, have you ever heard of RAZE? And they're like, what? And I'm like, do you like energy drinks? And they'll be like, yeah, I do. Right. I say, okay, 1 second, I'll be right back. Then I go back to my truck. I grab 2 or 3 cans of samples. If there's, 2 people working, I'll grab 2 because 1 each. Right. Try not to just give them a case that costs money, but 1 or 2. And then you bring it in and say, hey, this is a new product. And you go and you put the product, man, this background sucks. You take the product, you put it in their hand, right?
Yeah.
They put it in their hand, and you say, this is a product. I'm an independent distributor. I'm just starting out. I'm a small business and I'm in the area. And this product, it's a pre-workout. It's no sugar, and they taste amazing. And they go, okay. And I say, what's your favorite flavor? And they'll be like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, do you like orange? Do you like strawberry? Do you like watermelon? Like, what's your favorite flavor? And then they'll tell me, and then I'll go, okay, perfect. You like orange. Well, this right here, over here, is orange creamsicle. It's pretty much what it is. It's orange and vanilla-y, it's to die for. You can get in trouble with voodoo, right? And then they'll take it and they go, awesome. And then I'll tell them a little bit about it, like, it's like Bang, blah blah blah. And then as we talk and they're kind of opened up after me letting them know a little bit about the product, they'll sometimes ask me a question like, well, what do they use for the sweetener? Or blah, 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 or whatnot. And then I just answer the question. The key is going in, making sure what products are there, making sure there's no RAZE in the store. That way you're not stepping on anybody's toes. And then literally just asking them, do you like free energy drinks? Who's going to tell you no?
Yeah.
Right? So then you just give it to them and let them know about the this is what I do. This is my product, that I carry. I'm leaving this to you. Here's a little tidbit about it. Don't overdo it, and just let me know. Here's my card. Here's my number. Let me know what you think, and then just follow up. Follow up 1 week later, not tomorrow, not in 3 days. 1 week. They're busy. They've got so much shit that they're doing. You can't just go in there and pester them. Don't be annoying. Okay. And then when you go in there, you probably, most likely, if you've gone in there in a week, that person that you talk to is there again, because normally they're pretty close to the same schedule. So then you go, hey, Tommy, did you try out that energy drink that I saved you, or I gave to you? And they go, oh yeah, that thing was so good, man. It was awesome. And then now they're starting to remember everything that they tasted, how their experience was. And then they tell you, they're like, you were so right. It literally tasted like I was drinking an orange creamsicle, popsicle, whatever it is. And blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, did you talk to the person that, makes the decisions on whether or not they'll carry it? And they'll be like, oh yeah, that's this person. And sometimes they'll already have talked to them. Sometimes they won't. Sometimes the person's there. And usually if you get the employees to try it and they like it, they become the person going to the boss and saying, dude, I have this drink and it's freaking awesome. We have to carry it, because now the boss knows that their employees will buy the drink. There's their customer, right? Their employees are their customers too. And so that's the best way for me to get into it when it comes to just walking into a store. It's a simple conversation. My job isn't to sell them. I'm not trying to sell them. I'm just trying to introduce the product to them and let them make their own decision. If they make their own decision, and I'm not talking about price. I'm not saying there's 10 flavors, that you can get how many you want. That's the second conversation, right? The first one is literally just hold on. It's just like greeting. If you're in sales, you don't say, in car sales, you don't go up and say, hey, what's your budget? What kind of car are you looking for? What are you looking at? You say, hey, my name's Tyler. Thanks for coming down to our lot today. I want to help you make the best, I want to give you all the information you can to make the best decision. What are we looking for today? You introduce yourself. You break down the walls. That's what I'm doing. And I'm giving them a taste of what they can have. That's it. I'm just introducing the product. I'm just being nice, very passive. And then that's it. And I walk, I'm gone. The next time I come in, I'm a little bit more formal and I discover what they liked about the product, what they didn't. I take that feedback and I go, okay, well, maybe you'd like the strawberry colada. Maybe you'd like the grape bubblegum, right? And then I'll test that out. And then I find out who the boss is, who makes the decision. And I make sure that I'm there when that person's going to be in. And then it's like, hey, I've gave Tommy 2 different flavors and he loves them. Is this a product you want to carry? By the way, I've got it down the street at 3 different gas stations already and they're selling out quick, and that's where once you close the first one and then you go to the second one, your first one is your support. That's your backing. Just like as in when you use Marketplace to get a few customers and find potential, those were your supporting factors to go close that gas station. Now, when you go to the next gas station, you say, oh yeah, these guys had it down here for about a week and they've already gotten a second round of orders. You see what I'm saying? And then that way it's just a domino effect. And then you just rinse and repeat. And then once you find these business owners, sometimes they'll own 2 or 3 gas stations. So if it does good in one spot, why wouldn't they want to put it in the other ones? Right? And so it just becomes a rinse and repeat. The hardest ones to close are the first 2. After the first 2, it becomes easier. You're going to walk into a store, you're going to talk to them. And that's why I said conversion rate's hard, because I've talked to the same store 3 times before I even actually talked to the boss and got a decision. It's taken me a month to get into a store. And a lot of the problem is we already have hundreds of energy drinks. We don't have any space. We don't have any of this. Well, here's the product, try it out. I know you don't have any room and you don't want it right now because you don't have a space, but try it. Let me know how you think. Let me know what you think about it. And then that opens them up because it tastes good. At trade shows, I have people that try it and go, do you have any diet flavors? They're all sugar-free. They have no idea because the flavor is so freaking rich that they're all sugar-free. You just have to get the product in the consumer's hands. Whoever you want to sell it to, you need to get it in their hand. You don't need to say a damn word about the product. You go, do you like free energy drinks? Try it. That's it. And it will sell itself. Once they've tasted it, they will honestly ask you every question that you know the answer to that you wanted to tell them the first time. You see what I'm saying? It's all it is. It's always in car sales. Do you sell the car because they saw the car and they say, oh, I like this car, I want to buy it? No, they get in the car. They test out the car. They visualize themselves in this car that they're going to live with for however long it lives, right? However long the car lasts. They are putting it in their hands. They don't want to give it back. It's the same. It's a basic 101 thing. And if you do it that way, you're going to make moves. Like I said, the two hardest are the first two.
Okay.
But you can go about it in a passive way that doesn't make it so daunting and horrible and afraid to do. A lot of people get anxiety about it. You're just going in there and saying, it's just like going in there and saying, hey, do you guys have toilet paper? Hey, do you guys like free energy drinks? How hard is that? You're not trying to sell nothing. And that helps because I've been in sales for a long time. I still have anxiety sometimes to talk to people, but I'm not going to you to sell you. I'm going to you to just introduce a product, to build a fan. That's it. Just like I would do with my friend. That's literally all it is.
All right. Quick question. I've been hearing you say it a lot throughout our time here today. You keep using the word distributor. What's the difference between a reseller and a distributor?
I don't really know. Well, distribution is I don't know definition wise what the difference would be. A reseller, when I think of a reseller, is like somebody that has a product online and just resells it. They handle nothing, right? It's just a click payment. Somebody else is taking it. I do the distribution of the product. So I take the product and I take it to the store physically, and I physically will stock the shelf for them. I physically do the interaction. Whereas I'm not just saying, hey, Dan, you wanted to get 4 cases? Perfect. Awesome. We'll have that to you as soon as possible. And then I have my shipping department, Anthony, over here, who actually is the one that packages it and then ships it out. And then I just make money, right? So that's a reseller and a distributor go hand in hand because I'm buying a product to resell, right? I don't really think there might be a minute difference between the two, but I would say that I'm a reseller because I don't make the product, right? But I also am a distributor because I'm the one that distributes the product out here.
Yeah. The reason why
my answer for that.
Yeah, the reason why I asked that is I saw a thread on one of the groups recently, and they're like, whoa, if you're thinking about being a distributor, and they drop your name, they drop Ryan's name. I was like, well, wait a minute, what's the difference? And they talked about, well, hey, if you want to be a distributor, contact the headquarters and make sure there's no other distributors around. As I didn't fully get it, I thought I'd just throw that out to you.
Yeah, so it can just be that people, if you when I would have never thought that there was a difference until you just asked that. And the reason why is because if I wasn't, see, that's a difference. See, you can get a reseller permit without having a business. You can, it's tricky, but you can do it. It's kind of like if you're doing like a hobby, right? But if you were doing it as like a hobby, you're not in it to make a bunch of money. You're just sharing it, like craft goods, home crafted goods, right?
Yeah.
But if you were, I think the misconception people have is that when you say the word distributor, you're thinking business, licenses, insurance, transportation, all those things. Whereas when somebody says reseller, you think of it more in a simple term of, oh, I just buy this product and then I resell it to somebody. Well, then yes, you're a reseller. That's exactly what that means. But there's a step further in that with, being a reseller. People don't know, well, I can get a reseller permit and then not pay sales tax. There's a difference between wholesale distribution or wholesale resale, right? And being just a distributor, right? Wholesale is a whole different ball game. It's basically where I'd sit there and go, okay, I get pallets. And as an example, these are not the right numbers, but I get a pallet of $15 of 100 cases of RAZE for $15 a pop, let's say, and then I go and sell it to Dan for $16, right? I never had the product. I just said, I have this line and now I'm going to sell it to you for just a little bit of money. That's wholesaling, right? Because now Dan is going to go and sell it to consumers for resale, or they're going to sell it to a business, right? So a resale would be, I would assume, is directly to the customer, right? Distribution would be you're distributing it out to places to resell it, right? So that's pretty much basically, if I went to Wenatchee, the distributor out here, they would wholesale me a pallet. I wouldn't be buying them for the same price I buy them straight from RAZE or from Rep Sports. I'd be buying them at a wholesale price, which would be more, but it'd be closer and I'd probably get less shipping, right? So it is hand in hand. Yeah. So there's different levels of it. So you got manufacturer, you got wholesalers, you have distributors, and then you have resellers. And the reseller is whoever the person is, the one step before the end user, the person that actually is drinking the drink. If that makes sense. Okay. That's me mapping it out common sense wise. I have no idea if that's accurate or not. And somebody can, they can tell me whether or not that's correct, but that's what I would say.
All right, great. You know what? I don't know how much time we have left. Supposedly Zoom, I got 40 minutes. I'm already past that. So I'm going to leave it for questions for everyone else now. So I'm going to unmute everybody, and because I'm sure everyone's got some questions too. So I'm going to unmute it. Tyler, in case this is a little message to everybody in general. If we get booted, we get booted. I'll give you guys warning. I'm unmuting everybody, and I was able to record it, by the way, Tyler. So I'm going to share the link to you so you can share it to the group, and I'll do the same.
Perfect.
All right, so otherwise I'm unmuting everybody. And let me see.
Yeah, if you unmute it, yeah, you're probably doing it individually.
I think everybody's unmuted.
Well, I got Dan here. His mic's open. Dan, do you have any questions or anything like that?
The only thing I had is, are you a LLC?
Yes.
Okay. And then
there's different structures you can use, but it was too complicated. So you can be independent, where you just a sole proprietor.
Right. Right.
But then you use your own social.
Right.
My credit's shit. So I did an LLC, and I actually partnered up with my friend who does have good credit, and we make it happen together.
Right. Yeah. Like I have my own another company already, and what I got to talk to my accountant, but I think I'm going to do a holding company and put both of them underneath that company, so then they're all covered. But that's all I was asking.
What is your company now?
The other one, it's a sports training company.
Oh, okay. You can always do it as a DBA as well.
Right. So, right.
But I mean, to each his own. You definitely want to talk to your accountant on it. I don't have one. My accountant is my calculator on my phone.
Right. And like you were saying with the sales tax there, like a lot of people don't know, but like there's deposits on these. Like at Michigan, where I'm at, there's a 10-cent deposit on each can. So like I have one store right down the road here that I sell to, and they buy it, but then they got to charge 10 cents per can. So
wow. So they have to charge you 10 cents?
They charge the customer 10 cents per can.
Oh yeah, their sales
on
tax,
top of
right?
it. So
on top
like
of sales tax.
Yeah, they're selling them for $2.99 plus 10 cents. So they're selling them for like $3.10.
Yeah, Seattle out here has a thing out here in Seattle, Washington. And I think it just finally spread, but it was a huge sugar tax where like sodas and stuff like that were all taxed. Additionally, like a surcharge, like you're saying, like 10 cents a can, but then you have to fight it and say, well, this doesn't have any sugar in it. So
Right.
why are you taxing me, right?
Right.
That was a big debacle out here when they were trying to do the sugar tax. But yeah, it's to each his own at that point. Like, I don't know all the laws from different states. I didn't know what a dry store was until I talked to Ryan, which we talk, me, Ryan, Mason, and Tyler Calabrese. I don't know how to say his last name. Cool dude though. Illinois and in Texas, I didn't know that there was a such thing as a dry store. I had
Right.
no
Yeah.
idea that some stores can't have alcohol or not, because I'm in Washington.
Yeah.
You go to any store, you get everything. It doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah, like in
So,
Mississippi, they have dry county still. So,
right.
but
Did you have any other questions? I'm trying to not get us cut
yeah.
off.
Just one quick question. Like, who did you talk to over there about getting the pallets?
I talked to
Did you just
Cody
email
Welsh.
him, or you got a number?
Yeah, so I talked to Cody Welsh, but I also talked to him a little bit more because I was helping with the gaming, some ideas with the gaming side of everything. But if you're an insider, you're an ambassador, it doesn't matter. Just email either ambassadors at Rep Sports or insiders at Rep Sports and let them know, hey, my name is this. I'm already selling the amount of hustlers here, blah, blah, blah. I think I'm ready to buy up to a pallet. Can we talk about the pricing? And then Talmage will probably reach out to you. He's usually the one that you'd hear from. And they'll basically talk to you about the prices and stuff. I won't tell you what the prices are here because I'm not sure if we're allowed to.
No, I get that.
If I'm not mistaken, they're not making it a requirement that you have a business license to get it, or even a resale permit, because if you've noticed, when you buy online from them, you don't pay any taxes,
right?
Because that's how it's set up. They're allowed to do that through some law somewhere in Pandora's box. I don't know, but the email is the best way to get to it. And I can also let them know, because I've seen your name, you added me, and stuff like that. I can also pass along your name too and say, hey, this person's kind of interested. Could you talk to them about it?
Right.
And then they'll go from there.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right. Anybody else have questions? This is a great opportunity with Tyler.
I see Amanda's iPhone is on, and then I see Galaxy S20 5G.
Well, I really hope this is my personal account. People going, I hope it's not my business account. My business account is with the city. I'm like, oh, it looks like I'll be doing this job full time next week.
That'll be quicker for you.
Yeah, but
go ahead, Galaxy S20 5G.
Okay, so you were talking about going to businesses. There's some businesses out there like Midtex Oil, which is a large oil company here in the state of Texas. They don't want me to supply the stores. They actually want to talk to the company in Florida to buy straight from them.
Well, you're saying this is a large company, so is it like a large chain?
Yes, Midtex Oil is an oil company that supplies like fuel to a lot of different truck stops, gas stations, whatever else. But they also are in with like Bud Light, Budweiser. They have a couple other energy drinks and stuff that they actually supply, or they're in contract with. They asked me if there was any way possible they can talk to the main business and just be like directed to the business itself.
So what that sounds like to me, and there's a way to finagle it to where you do it, but it sounds to me like they're looking to possibly build a contract, which you can't do. You cannot, on behalf of RAZE, cannot build a contract. Now, if you could warehouse 100 pallets, right? If you could purchase that many, you can, make a contract till you turn blue in the face. But if you're, buying hustler packs and you can't really get that amount, the best idea would be to get as much information as you can from them. Let them know, absolutely, I'll be your point guy. I'll get you connected with somebody. And then just ask them the questions like, who would I have them reach out to? What are you kind of looking for, just to give them an idea, and then take that information and then go back to your email, an insider or ambassador. Don't post on Facebook group. Don't message them on Facebook. They don't ever see them because it's requests if you're not friends.
Yeah.
You can always add me and talk to me, and I can get you connected directly with somebody. But basically what they would do is they would Rep Sports would come in, you know, Joe and Lex would come in, and they would basically, you know, they would kind of take over the sale, but you would be a part of it because you're helping them close the deal. So they would work with you and talk to you about what you found out and what kind of expectations are there and the possibilities, and then turn around and, you know, get in contact with them, set up a meeting. And then they did it with Ryan before, and, you know, they just kind of, they bring you along for the ride. And then, you know, they take care of you as well. I don't know if they pay you anything or how much it would be, because I like to sell all my stuff personally, but when you hit something like that, that's super big, it's best to have them do it because they have the ability to get that supply and demand taken care of.
That's awesome, Galaxy S25G.
Who are you, by the way?
My name is Charles.
Oh,
Okay.
Charles.
I signed in as a gamer and stuff. I do a lot of gaming on Xbox as One Eye Weasel.
There you go. Okay. Yeah. So my best, don't be afraid to, my iPad's not charging. I'm at 10%. Don't be afraid to contact them when it comes to those big guys, because they'll take care of you and they'll make it happen. Now, the thing is, you know, the biggest part of logistics is getting them the product. And are they going to distribute it? You know, are they going to distribute it themselves, or how is it going to take care of all that stuff? So it's a bigger, it's more than just selling the product at that point. It becomes a logistics thing, and how is it going to get done?
Yeah.
So keep me in the loop. My name's Tyler Worth, if you didn't know that already. Big fat bearded guy. I'm kind of quiet on the RAZE groups recently, but that's just because I'm so freaking busy trying to get things done. You can always add me. I'm always open for people to add me on Facebook as well. Just shoot me a message and be like, "Hey, I'm not a creeper. I'm a part of this group with you and had questions." You know, and you can ask me questions whenever you want. If I seem irritated, it's just because my kids are yelling and it's really bothering me.
That's all right.
They got some pretty hardcore rules in the group, so I'm always careful about adding anybody. I'm like,
yeah, they don't want to do that, and the biggest reason why was because I'm not saying anybody else here is doing that, but you know, we have some good looking girls in there, and we have some creepy guys that are in there, and those creepy guys were trying to sneak into those DMs, and plus they were also DMing the admins and moderators and stuff like that, and they don't want that. The group is there to cultivate a community and a culture, as well as help each other build and make money. Not necessarily, the goal wasn't to make money. The goal was to share the culture, share the brand, share the flavors, you know, and it's grown. And right now, to be fair with you, they don't know honestly what to do with it because it's grown so big, so fast, especially on the sales side. They did the Hustler Pack and didn't even know that it was going to take off like it did. And now we're over here talking about, you know, pallets and stuff. And we have, I personally, because of a business, and I buy a lot, and there's about 7 of us or so, we have access to purchase, you know, everything at a wholesale price. So we have the ability to buy anything that you see on the page with a lot. So it's grown from buying cases discounted to Hustler Packs to pallets to everything. And they're still trying, you know, what I have right now is still in a pilot stage. You'll get more of that hopefully Q1, Q2, because it's just a lot of trying to figure out how everything works, how much to charge for shipping, you know, what minimums to set, stuff like that. So it's grown a lot. Don't slide into DMs unless you ask. The best way is if somebody asks a question, and, you know, if I were to comment on it or if Anthony were to comment on it, right? And you go, "Hey, Anthony, I like what you said. Can I personally message you to ask you a couple more questions?" And then Anthony can say, "Yeah, sure, not a problem. Go ahead." And then boom, you have your permission, right? Don't just jump in there and everything like that. But I mean, I don't mind. More the merrier. I like to help if I can.
Yeah, I noticed I DM'd the admin and nobody answered back, or it looked like they even read my messages because
they probably have no idea it's there. They get so many message requests that they just don't even bother looking at them anymore.
All right, cool. So I was like, I didn't want to piss them off in case this wasn't compliant.
No, I had already. So I'm in I'm in a group with them. We're on a group chat, and it's me, Cody, Talmage, Lex, Chris Wagner. I mean, and Robin. We're all in one. The higher hustlers, so to speak, kingpins, I guess you'd say, the ones that are in the palaces like that. We're all in a group, and we talk and converse. So the second I told you I was going to do it, I went and messaged them. They didn't respond, and I was like, well, we're going to do it anyway. So here we are, but yeah, so I talk to them all the time, and stuff like that. I don't really know everything that's going on, but I'm pretty excited. So,
all right. So, okay, I got to ask. So you're buying these pallets. Where are you storing all the drinks?
I'll actually attempt to show you. Let me take my background off here. My room is messy, so don't judge.
Okay.
So, switch camera. There we go. So we're in the process of moving everything, but here's my main bedroom. And then we have a secondary bedroom. And then usually it's all messy, but usually this whole wall is taking up. And we only have a few cases here left, but this is where I store it right now. So it's inside and it's dry. And this whole wall usually doesn't have like the baskets here. It's usually full all the way up to the ceiling, all right there. And we're in the process now of, I have a shed outside, a nice big decent shed that's full. It was so full we had to build another shed. And now that one's full. So we're about to build another shed specifically for housing it, where it's going to be insulated and everything like that, so it stays dry, and we'll have some heat in there with power and stuff like that. So I can have a little office desk area in there. So that's what I'm going to do. So right now, I mean, even if you live in an apartment, you might have stairs, and that'll be annoying, but you can house a pallet. A pallet is only 124 cases. It's really not that much. You can literally put a stack. I want to say if you had a wall space of at least 10 feet long, then you can put an entire pallet there stacked each case.
Awesome. All right, we got 2 more minutes. I'm going to call it 8 o'clock. I know you have a life. I got to go grab some dinner and have some time with my kids too. So let's call it in 2 more minutes. Amanda, do you have any questions for us? Or Tyler?
I don't think so, Anthony. I just want to thank you guys for doing the Zoom and answering all the questions that you did. It's really helpful as a new ambassador. I appreciate it.
And I apologize. Sometimes I talk too much and kind of go on a tangent. So
no, Tyler, I'm really thankful too that you set this up. If you guys are enjoying this, I'm going to continue going forward with it. I'm going to talk to Ryan next. I'm going to talk to, there's so much potential for us to share, because at the end of the day, we're all in different states anyway. So it's not like we're competing against each other. Hey, let's try.
There's enough food for everybody.
Absolutely. So, let's push the envelope, and let's everybody have a great time and drink the energy drinks, the pre-workouts, all that stuff. And let's all make a little bit of money too. Nothing wrong with that.
Right. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful day.
All right. Thanks, Tyler. I appreciate it.